So this story is written by myself, and I had Upper Prep W helping me with this one. They gave me lots of ideas, so I hope you enjoy. Lie down, sit down, relax, get a cup of hot chocolate maybe, if your mum and dad are kind enough. Anyway, I'm going to read it. This one is called, I was inspired by the name from Eliza in Upper Prep W. Hello, Eliza. She came up with this name. She had a nickname for me, which was Pac-Man. So this one is called Pac-Man, Chap-Man. And it features two girls in Upper Prep W, and it is Kamaya and Hannah. So enjoy, everybody. Here we go. Kamaya was bored. She had finished her computing work and was watching Hannah play Pac-Man for the 5th time. "Aren't you bored yet?" asked Kamaya, spinning in her swivel chair and checking to see if Miss Boyden wasn't looking at her. Ooh, naughty, naughty. "Bored?" said Hannah. "How could you ever be bored of running away from ghosts? It's terrifying. Hey, watch this." Hannah made Pac-Man eat a large white dot on the screen. Oh, by the way, if you're not sure what Pac-Man is, this is Pac-Man. Okay, I'll put that up there so you can see it. Okay. So Hannah's playing this game here called Pac-Man, and she's just eaten so you have to eat all these dots before these ghosts eat you, you see. And there are there are bigger white dots, and when you eat one of the big white dots, these ghosts become scared of Pac-Man, they run away and they go to this home base here. So you've got to try, and you can actually eat the ghosts as well. Anyway, so Hannah's just eaten one of these large white dots on the screen. The ghost suddenly looked scared and started running away from Pac-Man. It's like a game of cat and mouse," said Hannah. She giggled as she gobbled down a couple more ghosts. But Kamaya wasn't impressed. She just slumped further down into her chair. But as she did, she thought she saw the computer screen flicker in the corner of her eye. Ooh. She sat up to get a better look, eyes squinting. There it is again. Hannah appeared not to notice as she continued chomping on the ghosts, a look of delight on her face. She was clearly still enjoying herself. Again, the screen flickered. "What was that?" asked Kamaya. "What was what?" Hannah replied, still glued to the screen. Had she not noticed? Kamaya leaned in closer. The screen was flickering constantly now, and yet Hannah appeared not to notice. Confused, Kamaya reached out a hand and tapped the screen. To her surprise, it felt wet, as if made from water. That was weird. But it was when she pulled her finger away that things started getting really weird. It was as if the screen were made of a thick, gloopy oil sticking to Kamaya's finger. She pulled back further and harder, but still it clung on like chewing gum, being stretched. Terrified, Kamaya pushed away from the table to get as far away as possible, but the wheels of the chair resisted. The screen, which was now a swirling whirlpool of different colours, was pulling her in, closer and closer and closer. "Help!" she shouted, but no one appeared to hear her, as suddenly her chair lurched forwards, sending her flying through the air, head first, into the computer screen. Sounds of her class faded into the distance. Plonk! Kamaya fell to the ground, hard. The floor was pitch black where she was sitting. She stood up. It was like she was walking in space, except there was definitely a floor underneath her feet. There were walls 6 foot tall on either side of her. like a narrow corridor with neon red strips of light along the tops. There seemed to be several corners up ahead, left and right. Was this some sort of maze? Thought Kamaya. When she looked down, however, she squealed in alarm. Her body was bright yellow and perfectly round. Most alarming of all, though, was she had no arms or legs. She was Pac-Man. Oh no. So Kamaya had turned into Pac-Man. Her whole body. She has no arms and she has no legs, right? So she's just Pac-Man. I told you it's a bit of a weird story, this one. So she's basically, if you're not sure what's going on, Kamaya has just been sucked into the game of Pac-Man, and it was the same game that Hannah was playing. So can you predict what might happen next? Oh dear. It involves Hannah as well. Anyway, where are we? Oh no! Where's my body gone? As you can tell, Kamaya was freaking out. Her cheeks were bright red. A deep voice then came from somewhere, echoing around the maze. Ready? It sounded like a question. Ready for what? Kamaya was starting to get a bad feeling about this. Suddenly, Kamaya felt very, very hungry. Ravenous, you could say. Then a mechanical noise sounded in her ears. Ahead of her, small panels opened up from the floor, like mini lifts, to reveal giant versions of pick and mix sweets. There were pink dolly mixtures in the distance, chocolate raisins, fried egg sweets, Haribos, marshmallows, you name it. It was there, just ready to be gobbled up. Kamaya licked her lips, as she does. Overhead, way up high, a huge window opened up in the domed ceiling. A giant face looked down at her, grinning, her eyes sparkling with obvious excitement. It was a giant version of Hannah. Uh-oh. Kamaya could see the computing room behind her friend, as well as the empty chair beside her. Hey, Hannah! Shouted Kamaya, waving up at her. Of course, she had no hands, so it was useless waving. Hannah, I'm down here! Haven't you noticed I'm missing? Look at the chair next to you. But it was no use. It was no use. Hannah didn't appear to hear her. Instead, Hannah raised a finger, pressing a button on the keyboard. And as soon as she did, a huge outline of a downward arrow button flashed in front of Kamaya's eyes. And the next thing she knew, her Pac-Man body was moving along all by itself, squeaking down the dark corridor. As she approached a particularly delicious-looking pink marshmallow, she couldn't help but gobble it up greedily. Kamaya was surprised at how easy it was to eat. She barely had to chew. But then again, her mouth, or should I say Pac-Man's mouth, was at least 3 times the size of her own. Kamaya was in heaven, as you can imagine. Would you be in the same shoes? I don't know. I think I would be. Unless it was chocolate, of course, then that would be... Oh, that would be amazing. Anyway, she was just about to devour a fizzy cola bottle when a left arrow button flashed suddenly in front of our eyes. Her cumbersome body lurched to the side, turning her down another dark corridor. Hannah! Shouted Kamaya, realising something. I think you're controlling me. She looked up. It was obvious Hannah couldn't hear her still. She was just too far away. Besides, she was clearly engrossed in the game because Hannah's tongue was poking out the side of her mouth in concentration. Kamaya knew it was no use. Her controller, her friend, had no idea she was Pac-Man and that her life was quite literally in her hands. Kamaya was just going to have to trust her friend for now and hope that she was going to get her out unharmed. But it wasn't all that bad, though. Kamaya thought, as she chewed on a fried egg sweet. Tasty. It was then that the first ghost appeared. Uh-oh. It turned a corner at the far end of the corridor and was now approaching Kamaya fast. But it wasn't just any ghost. Oh, no, no, no. This ghost had the face of Mr. Chapman. Oh no, how grotesque, disgusting. So basically, all of these ghosts have now got the face of me. Terrifying and grotesque, you could say. Quickly, do something! Kamaya screamed, trying to close her eyes. Unfortunately, Pac-Man always had his eyes open, so no luck there. Whether Hannah heard or not, though, she responded immediately by turning Kamaya along another corridor, filled with licorice all sorts this time. Yuck! I hate licorice. I'm not sure if you do, Kamaya, so I've just put that in. Maybe you can put a comment later and tell me if you do or not. Can you take me down a different path? Said Kamaya. Another Chap-Man ghost appeared around the corner, heading straight for her. She was trapped! Oh no! Surely Mr. Chapman wouldn't eat me? Would he? Thought Kamaya. She wasn't so sure. She was just wondering what would happen to her if she were caught by another one of these Chap-Man ghosts, when the one in front of her suddenly bared its teeth. It had multiple rows of shark-like teeth that glowed in the dark. It was the most terrifying experience of Kamaya's life. Help! 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 Screamed Kamaya. That does sound quite terrifying. Just as the ghost, with its hungry eyes, opened its jaws. This guy's got good jaws. Just as he was about to open his jaws and bite down onto Kamaya, another panel in the floor revealed itself. Directly in front of Kamaya. Do you know what was on top of this panel, girls? It was a big, fat chocolate cake. Oh my God. Again, Kamaya licked her lips. Amazingly, Kamaya found herself devouring it in an instant. Boom. Chocolate smothered all over her yellow face. It was messier than a baby eating chocolate mousse for the very first time. Just picture that for a second. It's messy business. Then everything around her changed. She imagined she was having a chocolate rush. It was a very chocolatey sweet cake after all, because everything went from black to white. And the ghosts were revealed for who they really were. They weren't scary at all. No, no, no. They were actually tiny trolls, ugly at that, holding onto a pole with both hands that held a white bedsheet over them with my face plastered on it. It's a strange thing. Kamaya suddenly felt mischievous. You little snot bags, she shouted. You scared me. Well, let's see how you like it. The ugly troll creature yelped, dropped the bedsheet, then turned and fled in the other direction. Kamaya chuckled to herself. This is quite fun, actually. But then there was a flash of light from above, temporarily blinded Kamaya. Something was wrong. She looked up to see Miss Boyden's face in the window, peering down at her. She appeared to be pointing at the screen and was telling Hannah off about something. Hannah looked quite sheepish and guilty. Slowly she moved the mouse and clicked the big red button at the top of the screen. It's the one that closes the screen, you know what I'm talking about. And before Kamaya knew it, what was happening? She had been sucked up through the window and was now sitting next to Hannah again in the computing room, looking thoroughly dishevelled, that means all over the place, like that, and feeling queasy. "Where did you run off to?" asked Hannah as she logged the computer off. Kamaya hesitated. Should she tell her the truth? Would she even believe her? I just went for a quick snack, said Kamaya. Don't tell anyone. She tried not to smile. Technically, she wasn't lying. I've been. Oh, sorry. There's a little typo, sorry. Kamaya, are you feeling okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Kamaya chuckled. Oh, well, you could say that. I can see why you like playing that game so much, Hannah. It's frighteningly good. And from that day onwards, Kamaya always made sure she was the one playing Pac-Man. And she also kept a very close eye on Mr. Chapman. Indeed. And there we are. That is the end of Pac-Man Chap-Man. I hope you enjoyed it, girls. And you'll see below there will be a little activity underneath. Okay? Hope you enjoyed, and see you all, or probably after Easter now, because it's now the Easter holidays, isn't it? So you'll see. I'll do another one after Easter. Everybody stay safe and have a lovely holiday as best you can. And farewell. Bye-bye for now.